All right, I'm excited to tell you guys. I'm gonna do a little bit of like a marathon now. I'm gonna do a little bit of a marathon. So when you're seeing this, we are on tier 7 2. From here, you're gonna see me in the same. Well, you're gonna see me like the other episodes. You're gonna see me in the same shirt. I'm gonna go for the gusto. I'm gonna get a lot of these out. I'm gonna just, I try to do a little bit of a balance so I don't overload and go through the content really fast. That's again just a personal thing, and it's because like Swag put in the episodes together and everything. So out of respect, I don't know, it's just me. But now I'm gonna go through a little bit of a marathon. I'm gonna go back to back since I have the free time. I got some other projects to do, but I think I'm gonna go back to back for you guys, so I'll have them locked and loaded, and I'll post them a bit more frequently, so we can all be closer to the same page for the last tiers. So like I'm experiencing the last tiers along with you guys. I think that'll be really fun. So let's do it. Let's see how far I could get. The moment I realize myself kind of zoning out, I'll take a step back because I want to be completely locked. Maybe even we just do I split them up or do I just do the full thing? That would be crazy. A whole that would have you guys come back to the video. That'd be a whole well if I'm sitting here taking up time right now, hold up, let me pause and think about this. You know what? We're gonna do it. We're gonna do tier the rest of tier 7 as complete videos. But if I remember early on in the tier I didn't want to do that because I lost the footage. All right, you know what? Man, on account of that, I might have to cut it up just so I don't lose the recording. I don't know. Either way, much love and Moonlight. Thank you for listening to me yap for 2 minutes. Let's get into tier 7 2. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take the risk. Let's do it. I'm gonna take the risk. Let's go. All right, let's get it. So I feel like this goes. Yeah, facts.
Hello and welcome back once again to the massive YouTube Iceberg. Today we'll be continuing on with tier 7. Quick update, channel's been doing amazingly. Thank you for all your support. Couldn't do without you guys. Like for real, getting 60,000 views on the last video.
And now my man is double that.
Video was something I didn't even think was possible.
Actually,
but from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And also, before we get started, I'm happy to announce that this video is sponsored by Atlas VPN. When you're poking around in the deepest recesses of the internet, you're actually quite vulnerable to hackers stealing your data from many sources.
I'll skip over this part.
You didn't skip the ad, right?
Well, I didn't skip the ad per se, but I watched it through, but I just made a cut in the video. Hopefully that's
Operation YouTube was a campaign conducted in mid-2009 by Anonymous, which in 2009 basically just meant a bunch of trolls united under one cause. According to Encyclopedia Dramatica, which, I mean, grain of salt, but still, it started on the E-Bombs World forums in May, more specifically the porn board. One curious member asked, what happens if you post pornography to YouTube? Obviously, many forum members' responses were, it gets removed, duh. However, the conversation kept going, and the question shifted to what happens when you post pornography to YouTube to what happens when we post pornography to YouTube. As in, what would happen if there was a coordinated attack where all the members of the forum began posting NSFW.
I'm gonna be real, I don't know what this means. I just looked up coordinated attack on Google, but it doesn't kind of make it look like I know what I'm talking about though. Yo. Oh my gosh, I feel like in a really odd side. No, I'm gonna have to divide this up because I talk a lot. I yap forever. In a very odd way, this made me think, totally unrelated, but how power scalers and anime and how they tried to connect these dots with like This is what I imagine power scalers and shit see in their heads when they want to compare their favorite anime character or cartoon character to said cartoon character or anime character of another fan base.
Content to the site. YouTube was still in its infancy, and there was no way its content moderation was powerful enough to ban everyone. And so, the date was set. Operation YouTube was conducted on May 20th, 2009 by E-Bombs World Forum members in collaboration with Anons from B, and lasted the whole 24 hours. Participants would register new accounts, upload porn, and tag them with Marble Cake for easy searching. Which,
man, you can't start off this early in the video, Swag, and be just dropping the P word, man. Videos get shadow banned for stuff like this. I'm gonna get cooked. My video's cooked already.
kind of seems like
I'm gonna let it be raw because I like my channel being about that. But man, I'm surprised you were just dropping that.
a dumb idea to me because it would just make it easier for staff to delete it. No, take your cursor off the search bar, it doesn't work anymore. People would, in order for the videos to spread as far as possible, attach other tags of popular search terms such as Twilight, Jonas Brothers, Hannah Montana, High School Musical, Fred, Britain's Got Talent, and the swine flu, which is possibly the most 2009 combination of keywords ever conceived. Trolls would also mass flag innocent videos in order to confuse moderators. The campaign was a huge controversy and was reported on by major news outlets such as The Guardian.
You said YouTube besieged. Like YouTube is just this grand cathedral and this absolute Elden Ring fortress, like this like castle of like, is it Lutheria or whatever? It's just this grand castle. Like,
The Independent and the BBC. The BBC report
the BBC. My mind being on the topic of this whole like, you know, prawn, it's got me over here. The BBC, I
in
can't.
particular
I'm
read
sorry.
out one of the comments on a video titled Jonas Brothers Live on Stage that said, "I'm 12 years old, and what is this?" This would become a popular phrase on the internet over the course of the next couple years, or people would say it in response to anything strange or vulgar, or just confusion. A few months later, in January 2010, a second wave of spam would be conducted, apparently in retaliation of Google's suspension of LukeyWes1234, an 8-year-old YouTuber who honestly could be his own honorable mention. In fact, there are a lot of second waves, like the June 12th, 2009 Operation Ponytail. However, over time, these efforts became progressively less successful as Google improved its content moderation algorithms. Eventually, Operation YouTube faded into obscurity, forgotten by most and consigned to the annals of internet history, much like May AIDS, an episode that has largely faded from collective memory.
Yo, what, bro? What? Insane. Moonman. I know this. I know Moonman. I seen it on the thumbnail and I was like, oh, this is one I recognize. But again, it's like, I don't think I categorize as being even at this tier because, or like being in the upper echelon of knowing this stuff, because it's like I only recognize like one thing. This Bath and Body Works song, you guys, is going off. I don't know whose song this is, but holy moly. Moonman.
A nickname given to the iconic late 1980s McDonald's mascot Mac Tonight. More specifically, certain depictions of him that paint him as a less than ideal representative for the company. It started on ytmnd.com, where people began pairing GIFs of Mac Tonight commercials alongside less than appropriate audio files. First, the ever so popular and fairly innocent Chacaron Macaron, but later users would begin using text-to-speech voices to make him say quite offensive things, like chanting the letters KKK over and over again, spouting racial slurs, and soon enough song parodies that swapped lyrics for advocacy for racially charged violent crimes, as well as other—
How does that connect with the moon guy? But hey, I mean, I don't hold— Earth is a weird realm. I don't hold anything. I'm not surprised of any
other things like elder abuse and mass murder.
Okay,
and
yeah, that's insane.
That's around the time he gained the nickname Moonman. The group of people that would make these edits would soon become known as the Moon Crew, and they wanted to spread—
Look, Lunar was lost. Has nothing to do with the Moon Crew, guys.
their meme. So they took to YouTube, of course, and began re-uploading certain songs like Notorious KKK, a parody of Hypnotized by Notorious B.I.G., and uploading songs like Moonman Origins, which explained the lore of the character they created. YouTube would begin consistently removing any video featuring Moonman as it violated their guidelines on racism and inciting violence. This content was also met with copyright strikes from McDonald's, and AT&T, the company that owned the Texas speech bot, banned the phrase from use on their services. That being said, outside of a few instances, Moonman was still contained to mostly YTMND. In 2014, the vaporwave artist Saint Pepsi released Enjoy Yourself, which featured Max Knight prominently in the music video. Finally, he wasn't associated with the Moonman persona in people's minds. This association with vaporwave lasted less than a year before the Moonman raps began spreading far past the breaches of YTMND in 2015 and 2016. Perhaps as a byproduct of the rise of the alt-right movement in the 2016 election, Moonman would swiftly resurge in popularity. A whole new generation only knew this iconic advertising mascot as nothing more than an edgy, racist, alt-right, slur-spouting rapper who began to function more as a mascot for 4chan's poll board than McDonald's. I myself have even personally met people who only know this character's name as Moonman. Moonman.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
The news site InfoStormer and a We Searcher campaign to put up Moonman-themed billboards in support of Donald Trump. While it's debatable whether or not the original posters actually shared the views of their creation or if they were just being edgy, Moonman quickly spiraled out of control and in 2019 landed itself an official spot as a hate symbol on the Anti-Defamation League website.
Ain't no way.
But, it was all a joke, so.
Yeah, what? Era Dixie?
Era Dixie was a somewhat popular Canadian Call of Duty player who would upload videos of himself performing trick shots in the early 2010s, which was when that style of content was at its peak popularity. In 2014, however, he disappeared from the internet randomly without any prior warning. We didn't know a whole lot about his personal life, but we did know what he looked like, his first name being Mohammed, and his city, Hamilton, which is a fairly populous city in Ontario.
Okay, where is this going, bro? Where is this going? Are we gonna get a dark story?
These three dots wouldn't be connected until content creator VKs uploaded a video to Twitter explaining that he possibly had ties to ISIS. Yeah, in the video, he digs up a news article from around the time he disappeared from the CBC. The headline read, Mohammed, Hamilton youth reported killed as ISIS fighter. According to the article, Mohammed was radicalized online by Islamist extremists and joined the war on the side of the Islamic State. Articles even seem to mention that this Mohammed loved playing Call of Duty. It was pretty clear that Mohammed was Dixie. The articles go further, saying he was a very extroverted and academically driven person, and generally had a pretty good life. However, he shut off contact with both his online presence and his friends when he became incredibly devout in his religion, dedicating himself to the point where he did what he did. While it's unknown what his fate was with ISIS, as they're not exactly known for publishing information and statistics like that, it's most likely he died shortly after he joined, since that's just kinda what ISIS members do. The news came as quite a shock to not only his family, but also his fellow teammates on Era, and was definitely not what I was expecting to see.
Wow. I like I said, I don't think I have any more to say as we get up. No, I do. I obviously gonna talk. Wow. I'm laughing also because I laugh. Okay, never mind. I'm not laughing at this. Cause I mean I think any loss of life is kind of like damn. But then also, yeah, let me just stop talking.
Saved it.
I'm like gonna blow my cover that I'm like, I gotta pretend to be human. Rare rabies in a human. Rare? Interesting. Oh, is this gonna be sick, bro? Is this gonna be like somebody with rabies? Cause doesn't that tear somebody up? Like you're cooked, right? You're cooked if you get rabies. My heart goes out to anyone who has rabies.
Rabies in a human is a 3.5 minute long.
Yeah, like aren't you cooked? The process of doesn't it eat your brain? I don't know. I might be wrong. I can't
Video
remember.
by the University of California that documents what happens when a human being contracts rabies, most likely as the result of being bitten by a fox or dog or raccoon or some other woodland critter. It's honestly really disturbing, not only from the subject matter, but also the creepy nightmare music they use in the background.
See, dude, I'm gonna say this, right? Not that I really hold any personal. No, okay, that's actually right. I do have to make this clear because I feel like some people will take me out of context. I don't really hold a lot of emotional stake in a lot of the things I watch. I kind of like, after I get off the video, I kind of go back to this state of like heaven on earth. Long story. But, so I was saying that to preface what I was about to say about the nightmare music behind clips in videos. I'm not gonna lie. That's just one of the like anyway, it is what it is. I don't get it. Like, something is already disturbing enough where you do not have to use creepy music in the background. I feel like that's such a like just like a dumb tactic to invoke emotion in somebody, like as if they already are not going to get creeped out by what they're watching or something. Or it's almost like it'll make something a bigger deal than it is. Kind of like me talking about this right now.
Unaware, rabies is a somewhat common disease in animals. However, in humans, it's extremely rare, with only about 1 or 2 cases per year in the United States, thanks to vaccines for both pets and sometimes humans. And also people...
I was thinking about this wrong, I guess, then. I heard if, like, you get it, you're cooked. Like, don't you have to get the vaccine, like, immediately, though, or something like that? I don't.
Just generally knowing not to fuck with wild animals. That being said, if a human does contract rabies, it is 99.9% fatal as soon as the symptoms show up. The highest mortality rate of virtually any disease on planet Earth, as there exists no proper treatment. Not only that, but it might be one of the most painful ways to die. Your body eventually starts rejecting any water you try to swallow, and then you start salivating continuously, which turns into foaming, and eventually you die from dehydration. The video shows every stage of this man's slow death in gruesome detail. Apparently, the man was given the choice of either being euthanized or just letting it slowly kill him, but he chose the latter in order to be studied for science, which honestly makes him a fucking hero, because if that was me, I'd just take the needle.
What a badass. Nah, I gotta give that guy credit. What a badass, dude. Damn, but that's so to have that on video is that's like that's kind of dark. That's kind of wild. That's kind of impressive though. So yeah, give me the needle. Oh man.
Dog Sees Ghost is a video uploaded in 2007 by YouTube user Cy Jarvis. It's a classic paranormal video where the uploader is trying to lead his dog, Annie, through a hallway in order to feed her. However, she seems to be very scared of going through the hallway, looking in random places and even growling and barking, acting very unusual. And that really sums up this video's 7-minute runtime. Back in YouTube's infancy, these paranormal videos would attract a ridiculous amount of attention, possibly because viewers didn't have much to go off of and were easily impressed. Commenters from around the time the video is uploaded can be seen discussing how animals can see parts of the spiritual realm that we can't. It's kind of interesting to look at, since comments like this wouldn't really exist in this day and age, since most internet goers are so jaded by false information. Nevertheless, the most obvious likely explanation is that the dog is just weird. Anyone who's had a pet dog most likely knows what I'm talking about. Personally, my family has owned a couple of dogs, and they'll just get terrified and start barking at the top of their lungs for literally no reason in the middle of the night. Or maybe my house is just haunted too, I don't know. 132 Insert 132 was a horror web series / ARG that ran from 2015 to 2016.
I've seen the image of this. I didn't know it was a horror web series.
And to be completely honest, was pretty run-of-the-mill. Grayscale footage, takes place in the woods, hooded figures, strange symbols.
He broke it down. Alright, I'm gonna stop pausing it. I don't know. I gotta find this balance. I don't know, guys. I'm sorry. I think about this for other videos that I do. I don't know the balance of like pausing and not pausing, but I mean that was a pretty funny place to pause. He broke it down. He's like, it's pretty run of the mill. Grayscale, hooded figure, forest, you know, creepy mask, you know, list goes on. Camera moving in very like
symbols, and even has direct references to things like the Blair Witch Project, which basically inspired every single one of these that look like this.
We had to see the guy taking a piss.
I believe the gimmick with this one is that the footage in the series are reenactments of events that happened in universe rather than the actual events themselves. Again, not really my thing, but there's a Nightmind video to check out if you're interested. Chasyn Rance is an American professional wrestler and wrestling trainer who debuted in 1999.
Is this story gonna twist around and he's like dead?
And I guess has a YouTube channel. I'm by no means a wrestling fan, but to me, it doesn't really seem like he did anything of note in the professional wrestling field, at least from what I can gather. However, in 2011, he was arrested on account of events that happened in 2008. Chasyn Rance had sexual relations and battery with a minor, who was between the ages of 12 and 15.
Why?
2014, he was
Why? Why?
officially added
Why?
to the sex offender.
Look at his smile. If this, wait, is this the actual image that they got of like status released subject to registration?
Registry, which, if you don't know, is permanent. You would think that he would never show up in any sort of professional setting again after this news. However, that would not be the case. He came back to wrestling a mere 7 months later. And you know where he went after that? He went back to Team Vision Dojo, a wrestling school in Orlando, Florida, that Chasyn founded in 2002, that specializes in teaching children under the age of 18 to wrestle. Obviously, this led to a lot of backlash, which led to a statement from the school. According to them, Chasyn went to therapy and submitted drug testing, and did everything that was required of him by law. And then he went back to training minors. But don't worry, guys, he always tells parents about how he was previously convicted, so that makes it alright. The parents consent to it. Hell, apparently at one point the dojo allowed Chasyn to tag team with a 16-year-old girl.
Hang on.
Which, of course, it would make sense that the dojo would be okay with that, considering he owns the dojo. Technically, he's not bound by law from doing this, it's just obviously really fucking weird. To tie this back to YouTube, he upholds a YouTube channel that he consistently uploads to, and his latest video was 8 days ago as of writing the script.
Okay, hang on. Swag, you're hilarious, bro, for saying that, dude. You're slick, dude. Tag team. They let him tag team. That's what a way to phrase that. What I will say is that's insane. There's some level of bounce backs on this list that, you know who comes to mind? The one guy. There's some level of bounce backs on this list that in oh, you guys are gonna think I'm insane. Oh man, so be it. There's this level of bounce back that has me so weak that it's like inspirational to a degree. If come on guys, if somebody like and I'm not, oh my gosh, that's so hard to dude. It's not like anything I could say here is gonna be all right. I'm not gonna lie. It's because I'm not a judgmental person. Like I know for a fact the actions he did are just like bad, but I wouldn't write myself because of how I view the world. I can't write myself above this person. But what I want to say is literally like if somebody like this can bounce back from the things that they've done, you can accomplish anything. Because I'm sure there's a lot of us out there, many, maybe the majority that are not gonna have relations with a child. So if this man can come back and start a business, what's stopping y'all? Oh man, I don't have any more to say, bro. That's crazy. I mean, he's registered, so he's got to like say, he's got to tell the parents. You can't keep that. He must have a different aura about him when you meet him in person. I don't know. Cause I'm not gonna lie. I you know, I like. Let's go back to Swegwin's disclaimer in the beginning. I'm gonna take. I'm a personally, and it's just personal choice, and that's my choice. I'm gonna take my kids to
Seemingly
I'm gonna enroll them in not such a hand-on activity with someone registered.
fazed by the fact that he's a sex offender.
Wow.
You want something that's fully integrated, toxic.
Hold on a minute. Oh, I'm so weak. See, like. Oh man. See, I can't, and that's why I say I don't want to make like some of the things I sound like I'm trying to rationalize his behavior, because no, it's deplorable 100%. But you can be a reformed and a changed person, so I'm not saying like I'm not gonna 100% jump the bandwagon and be like, yeah, I'm gonna. But personally, I'm not gonna take my kids. I wouldn't take my kids to his gym. But hey, if they see the light in his soul, then hey, okay. I mean, I cannot argue with that. To each their own. But yeah, I can't. Yeah. Whew. Oh, Samantha Wohlford. That was too
Samantha
funny,
Wohlford is a woman from
like, you can bounce back from anything. I gotta say that. Can we take that from that situation? If that dude can come back and have his whole business, what is stopping you?
Titus County, Texas, who lived with her 5 kids and her husband, Ernie Ibarra. Her
5
videos
kids.
are, for the most part, vlogs where she just talks about her day and stuff like that. You know, pretty standard shit. Apparently, she'd upload quite a bit, treating it as her full-time job, despite having a very small audience, while her husband would work 2 jobs and be the only source of income for the both of them and her kids. While her
damn.
videos began talking about small things like makeup tutorials and rambling about pop culture and things like that, she soon began shedding light on very personal things, like how her relationship is going with her spouse and her family. She had quite the uneasy relationship with her husband as time went on, and she would even tell her friends that he abused her physically and emotionally. However, it's up in the air whether that was actually true. In 2015, tragedy struck. Samantha's mother called 911 in the late hours of the night, claiming that mysterious intruders had broken into their house. Pistol whipped.
I was in bed asleep. We heard a noise, and the second I was able to open my eyes, somebody grabbed me and jerked me out of bed and slammed me on the ground.
Her husband Ernie, and then kidnapped him. Meanwhile, Samantha had been tied up and gagged, and somehow managed to call her mother while doing so, who probably called 911. Police took Samantha in for an investigation, and she revealed the names of the 3 men who took Ernie away, being Jonathan Sanford, Octavius Rhymes, and Jose Pons. However, based on a slip-up in the interview where Samantha tried to explain how she called her mom, investigators realized that the true mastermind of the operation was Samantha herself.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I literally, like, you could see right through that as Sweg was explaining that. Like, what?
And she collaborated with the 3 men in order to murder Ernie Ibarra. She was arrested along with the 3 other men, and they all.
Damn, like, yo, okay, I'm gonna spit really quickly. You know what? Fuck it. Mask off. Entertainment Lunar out of here. Where are we? We are in a realm where this stuff can happen. Think about that. She got 5 kids. I can understand her situation and everything that, you know, and I can understand, like, from a very, very surface level, because I don't truly know what's going, obviously I don't know what's going through the heads of some of these people, but like, think about that for a second. Isn't that crazy? Like, that's how you know love is from a higher dimension than here, and it comes down here. And that some of the stuff in here is just, it's just like, bro, the one she has kids with is working 2 jobs, and she just making YouTube videos, taking care of the kids. That might be a lot in her mind. You know, the stress may be, who's to say? Everyone deals with stress and challenges a lot differently, so I can't speak on that. But imagine that, like, you know, essentially, like, you're pushed to this point. Like, what is going on there? But imagine, like, we live in a realm where something like this could go down. That is insane to me. A YouTuber mom who claims she was the victim of her abusive husband and then was locked up for his And then seeing then that frames that in a certain way, because you probably do see him coming home being upset, like, man, I work 2 jobs. Like, come on, man, you're sitting here making YouTube videos and stuff. The least I could get is some dinner. all right. No, it's a tragedy. So I don't want to frame it like that. But just what I mean, because I've been through some stuff. So like that's also why, like, I'm laughing for me, but I've been through some stuff that's like wild. So. Not to this degree. I haven't had, at least that I know of, I haven't had anyone try to take me out my mortal shell. But what I will say is just like, it really makes you question where we are when you hear stories like this. That's just all I'm saying. It's just like, some things that people are driven to are absolutely insane, dude. I was going to go a little bit more in, but again, I always say this on my channel. I do know that my channel is a mix of things. It's a mix of like metaphysical consciousness, that sort of path, and then it's also like the entertainment side. People just come for the entertainment. So I don't want to go too far off in talking about concepts, but I know that would bring the uniqueness to the videos, and it would just be me being me. But I don't want to talk too much on this. It's just like a tragic death, really unnecessary. Didn't have to go this far, but of course, you know.
All served life sentences. Yeah, it's honestly kind of a crazy turn of events.
It really is. It's just like kind of like, I'm gonna just say it's unnecessary. Like it don't allow your emotions to control you so much to the point where you're pushed to a point like this. Just find another way. But I think literally having to organize a whole hit on someone, it's like, I don't even know.
The fact that this entry comes right after Samantha Wohlford might be the most jarring tone shift in the entire Iceberg, at least so far. Poop Shotgun is a short YouTube video where a guy runs into the bathroom while his friend is on the toilet. He hands him a can of beer and yells, "Poop Shotgun." The friend then shotguns the beer and gets her from the seat a little bit, and then, well, poops, which leaves his ass at a high speed, resulting in a shotgun-like effect. The video is pretty short, basically being a vine, and there's really not much else to it. The original upload was deleted, so I couldn't tell you who originally posted this and when, but I feel like it isn't really super important.
Talking Turd Abomination Animation. Wow.
Talking Turd Abomination Animation is a video by YouTube user Squirrel with a Gun, uploaded in 2007. It was made to test out lip syncing with Lightwave 8 and features this abomination talking rather politely about how he can eat a baby in one bite. But of course, he wouldn't, because he prefers to chew his food. And that's pretty much all there is to this.
Gotta love it.
A theory I have is that he's related to Yelling Creature. Discover the most pleasurable way to poop is the name of an advertisement from Squatty Potty, a toilet that's designed for users to squat when they poop instead of sitting, since our bodies are actually designed for doing it that way. Okay, well actually it's not even a toilet, it's just a fucking stool. The commercial is fantasy themed and shows a mermaid, a centaur, and a dragon having some problems shitting. Why is this on here? I really have no idea. I'm gonna assume this most likely aired as a YouTube ad at one point. People got pissed after having to watch a baby dragon poop every time they watch a video, and that's why it's memorable. Or Potted Plant just thought it was really funny, which honestly describes more and more entries as we go down.
I've got nothing. I got nothing for that.
Brian Joseph Ricard, better known by his internet alias Yoteslaya.
No, is this gonna be dark, bro? Every time I see people, I can't tell anymore, dude. It's like I can't. It's like, I mean, I feel like you guys expect me to commentate over the certain, you know. I don't even have words, man. Ready. Let's see. Oh. Hopefully this goes wholesome.
Yoteslaya was a gaming YouTuber who primarily did videos focusing around Call of Duty and Borderlands. And with
Hey, Borderlands! I was just about to install that back and make some commentary videos with Borderlands.
Sometimes do other games too. Pretty standard channel, all things considered, and he was active from 2007 to 2013. However, in 2013, Brian was driving two of his friends around his home county in Indiana. At a train crossing, he had the bright idea of trying to outrun it instead of just waiting. The train did not stop for him, killing him and his two passengers instantly, breaking the heart of his friends, family, and fans. It's worth mentioning that I couldn't find a reliable source on whether this was actually him behind the wheel or one of his friends, but news reports did say that there was most likely alcohol involved, which makes sense because I don't think anyone in their right mind would try to do something like that.
Oh, so it kind of just ended in a trudge. Might have been the alcohol and playing Borderlands, if I'm being honest.
Innocence of Muslims is an extremely controversial short film directed, written, and produced by Egyptian-American and Coptic Christian filmmaker Nicola Baseli Nicola. The film is controversial due to its criticisms of Islam and the Islamic prophet Muhammad, and it was originally uploaded to YouTube by Nicola himself under the pseudonym Sam Basil. It has a really interesting history, actually. The film's vision, initially, was fairly unpolitical. The original name was Desert Warrior and described life 2,000 years in the past, and featured a man called Master George, who was portrayed as, according to New York Times, a buffoon, a womanizer, a child molester, a child of uncertain parentage,
What am I hearing?
a greedy, bloodthirsty thug, and a homosexual, which that one's obviously not that bad, but I guess you're not allowed to do that in Islam. Actors were called in to portray roles in the film, and it seemed like a pretty standard, albeit low-budget, bad film. The film was first screened in the Vine Theater in California to an audience of about 10 people. However, the finished product was quite different than what Nicola actually led on in the production. Nicola actually had some of the voice work dubbed over in order to push forward an anti-Islamic sentiment, specifically changing the name of Master George to Muhammad, as he now was meant to represent the famous prophet. The actors, some of whom were Muslims themselves and some of them weren't, were never consulted about the redubbing. A non-profit organization called Media for Christ were the ones who provided Nicola with the film permits, however they did so for Desert Warrior, and not the edited version, Innocence of Muslims. So all this dishonesty from the film producer, along with the general message of the film, must have led to some pretty huge backlash, right? Yeah. A 13-minute trailer was posted to YouTube in 2012. However, I couldn't find anything about the full film being found, and it possibly—
Hold up, explain. Swagwin's got to get to that last image of the sea of people over this film.
It doesn't exist entirely. However, this YouTube upload is where it began spreading internationally, especially to Arabic countries. They really did not like it, and were somehow led under the false pretense that The Innocence of Muslims was a Hollywood blockbuster, and represents the views of the American people and even the American government. This led to infamously widespread protests across Northern Africa and the Middle East from enraged Muslims thinking the Americans believed Muhammad was a piece of shit, even though it was just one guy who was really shady, and probably just doing it to stir up shit. Riots were held, especially against the United States embassies in these countries. Most famous of these were Egypt and Libya, the latter of which you may be familiar with as the 2012 Benghazi attack. You know, the same one that Hillary Clinton emails things centered around. This attack was coordinated on September 11th of all days, 2012, against the American embassy in Benghazi, Libya, and led to the death of multiple American officials such as United States Ambassador J. Christopher Stevens and U.S. Foreign Service Officer Sean Smith. All of this over a comically poorly made film shown to an audience of like—
You're lying. Nah.
10 people, directed by a
You hear some of this stuff and go, no way, bro. Oh my god, and oops funny.
lazy Hollywood con man. So what happened to Nicola Baseli Nicola after the backlash?
Facts.
Well, he was arrested by US law officials for violating his terms of probation, including but not limited to using aliases or the internet without approval from the probation officer beforehand. Yeah, unsurprisingly, this isn't the first time this guy has had run-ins with the law, since in the 90s, he was a meth dealer, and in 2012, just 2 years before the release of the film, he was arrested on account of bank fraud.
Y'all ready?
Wow, what's bank fraud? Actually, I want to look that up. Oh, the literal most standard thing you could think
Never
of.
let go. Never let go. Never let go.
Let go.
Oh, what a next one to go into. One guy stirred up that much trouble. There's just, I don't believe, that's insane to me, bro. That's literally insane to me. Kind of goes back to the last video where I was kind of talking about things surrounding the cough, because it's like, yeah, some of these events, yeah, I'm not gonna bust out the tinfoil hat. That's insane though.
Yeah, man, you read that right. George Floyd Gaming, can't believe I'm saying that, is a channel started in, well, 2020, obviously. All the videos on the channel are just Fortnite clips alongside other games sometimes, with this image of George Floyd in the top left, edited to be wearing a gamer headset. The audio for every video is Wishing Well by Juice WRLD, which the joke is immediately apparent once you listen to that song's lyrics. There's not really a whole lot to this, it's probably just some teenagers trying to be edgy. A similar channel would be Pedophile Gaming, which to my knowledge is really just a standard commentary channel ran by a 16-year-old, and the name was just a name. Honestly, that's a much funnier use of shock value to me.
Yeah, that actually is. That's actually pretty good. What the fuck? Ah, God. Director's chair, and I think after this series, I'm retiring from being a YouTuber or a content creator. I don't really even like the title YouTube. Not that it's bad. I have a very old video talking about titles, anyways. If you dig and find it, you dig and find it. Director's chair and camera bag.
I'm sure you're all familiar with the classic YouTube play button, a reward given out to YouTubers upon hitting subscriber milestones, such as 100K, a million, 10 million, so on and so forth. These were rolled out around 2013. However, back then the silver play button didn't exist, and instead channels were sent a YouTube branded camera bag and a $50 gift card upon hitting the big 100K. Pretty neat, but for those who hated bags, I guess, the option was provided to instead have a director's chair that looked like this. Now, you might immediately realize a problem with the chair, which is that it fucking sucks. Like, first of all, it looks so uncomfortable to sit on and so small. I also don't really see how much use this would get because I feel like most YouTube videos are a lot more casual than that. I can't really see a case where you would want these 3 metal rods poking at your ass cheeks and sitting on like...
And it looks by the way that you would sit on that, at least for a guy, you're gonna kind of orient yourself where, yeah, like your 2 cheeks are gonna be here and here, but then like your freaking this bar, if I'm seeing that right, if there's a bar like right here at this triangular spot,
you know,
that it's gonna be digging right between your balls, bro.
An actual chair. I don't even think I want to be sitting on this if I was directing a movie. And most of all, this isn't even a director's chair.
Yeah, director's chair is like, I mean, at least from what I'm picturing in my head, it's literally like it's risen up and then it looks like a little black chair. Let me see if I'm actually on the money with that. Yeah, so something like this is exactly what came to mind. Like this or like this. Like that's like that's what this and this came to mind. This little like this X thing. So yeah, very interesting.
It was called that and marketed as that, but this is a director's chair.
Oh.
I don't know if YouTube just forgot.
Yo, ain't no way, bro. That's funny.
What a director's chair looked like or wanted a low budget alternative since they were giving these out for free. Needless to say, almost everyone picked the bag because it was a pretty good bag, making the chair quite a rare commodity. One of the few people to have one, Tamashi Hiroka, said on the tweet that she foolishly picked the chair, expecting it to be, you know, an actual director's chair, and they sent her 2 for some reason. Honestly, if I had 100K subs in 2013 and they started rolling out silver play buttons a year later and I just couldn't get one, I'd be so pissed.
Elephant Man
is a...
Special shout out to Elephant Man. As soon as I seen this pop up in the tier, I was like, is this the Elephant Man? And synchronistically, Elephant Man ended up emailing me while I was shooting this. My man said I had to include it in the video, so here you go, my brother. And yeah, that was just very, very, very synchronistic timing. And you gotta love it. Gotta love that divine timing. But yeah, anyways, had to stop here for a moment of appreciation for the guy that even put me on game with this whole series. And yeah, I actually don't think I said it too, so might as well, while we are at it, just give thanks to Swag and Potted Plant for, I don't know, making this thing a reality. So it's pretty cool. All right, love you guys.
Video uploaded in 2007 by YouTube.
Warning, I'm about to show a guy with severe facial deformities. Not gore or anything like that, but it might be uncomfortable to some viewers.
YouTube user LP.
There you go.
And features a severely deformed man in a Chinese hospital. The man's name is Huang Chengkai, and he had an extreme case of rare genetic disorder
called neurofibromatosis, which is what causes tumors to grow on people's skin. It usually isn't this bad, however, this guy got unlucky and has these giant tumors growing out of maybe the worst possible place, the face. As a result, his facial features were completely distorted. This earned him the nickname China's Elephant Man, in reference to Joseph Merrick, an Englishman who earned the title the Elephant Man at freak shows thanks to his similarly severe deformities. In 2007, Huang received surgery to remove the tumor on his face from the Fuda Cancer Hospital, which is what this video depicts. Over the years, he would receive more and more surgeries, which most likely prevented him from dying early, but he still lives to this day with the deformities. According to news reports from 2017, he's been more accustomed to his appearance and leads a fairly normal life. Of course, he has received several monetary offers to appear in circus freak shows, much like his 19th century predecessor, but he has repeatedly turned them down, most likely not wanting to have people profit off of his unfortunate situation.
Good for him, though. I actually can. Oh, duh. I'm so slow, like I don't edit videos. I can literally pause this and continue and then just put the two halves together as a full video. That didn't even feel like English. All right, so we're starting the next part and then we're just gonna go all the way. Let me see too. Let me do this. I do this sometimes. What I was doing right there was increasing the speed. What I would say about that guy and anyone who has that, anytime I oversee stuff like that, my heart just goes out to them genuinely. Like, I'll just be like, you know, I don't know. I was gonna say some sort of like gratitude that, you know, still get to live a normal life, and also that too. Though I wouldn't say that it would be selling out, that they don't end up taking the monetary deals or whatever to be in like a freak show. But also, I could see where for someone that would be a cool opportunity, but at the same time, I kind of have a little like warm feeling in my heart when people don't like, you don't accept deals like that because you kind of know what it's about. But also it's kind of like at the same time, I could also see the perspective of that being a really cool opportunity. But to me, living authentic and truly being authentic to yourself, like I say in some of the I think I forgot to say in the beginning of this video, is, you know, having a certain amount of integrity to you. But you can be integral and still take a deal, an offer like that. But that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Not not the tumors, because that was probably completely uncomfortable. But hey, I mean, at least you're not getting secretly plotted on by your girlfriend to
Spooky haunted
have 3 men breaking. Okay, I'm done.
puppet that choked owner caught moving on camera in a sealed container is a video uploaded by Minha's TV2 in 2015, which has since been deleted and re-uploaded. The title is so damn long that it pretty much does my job for me. The backstory is that this puppet supposedly almost killed its previous owner by strangling them in the dead of night somehow. The owner sent in the puppet to paranormal investigator Jane Harris, who had apparently been investigating spiritual attachment to haunted puppets for 17 years.
17 years? Wow. Trained psychologist. Wow.
Oh, there's a major for anything nowadays, I guess. She locked it in a glass container and filmed it. We can see here that it's clearly moving, with the operating cross slowly moving upright before moving back down. All of this comes from a Daily Mail article, which constantly reiterates that there's no possible way for this to be fake. But if you look at the video, it just kind of looks like gravity taking its place, and they never actually show it moving back up. So yeah, another most likely fake ghost video.
Although, then again, it does say Real Thing TV. Right?
Yeah, I was gonna say. And you know what the sad thing to me is I've been through a lot of paranormal events in my life, so it's like when I see things like this, you know what's actually fun for me? When people get around me, they witness the real things happen, and then and what I've always wanted to do with like my connection to the supernatural is literally be around the people who fake these videos and see what happens, because I feel like half of them would like shit themselves, or really be like, oh, like this is a lot more than we paid for. And I'm like, yeah, you know, there's a lot of real things out in these cultures that you can go and find out really quickly if you really want to. But I feel like a lot of them, you know, and I don't want to say certain things, but it's more about like the trending commercial, like the money we can make or stir up something. And I don't necessarily see anything wrong with that, but there's some real stuff that, you know, quantum physics is proving every day now. And it's just like, I'm just telling you, there's some real shit going on, and you tap into those realms if you want. See, you know what's funny too? I would say like, not tap into those realms if you want to, but more of like, it's more like a fuck around and find out if you really want to.
Right there. So I guess it is real.
Facts, real thing TV.
Reptile
I
Channel.
really do want to get around some of those people who do the Ouija board stuff and all that, and like see what happens.
Is a bit of a strange.
I'd be wanting that. It's like, it's almost like a sick. It's because I'd be like, I don't know.
Rabbit hole.
I don't know.
It's, as you might guess from the name, a channel that centers around reptiles. At first glance, it presents itself as an educational, somewhat family-friendly channel that teaches its audience about reptiles and their feeding behaviors and whatnot. However, more observant viewers will notice a very concerning amount of videos related to giant snakes and lizards eating and constricting smaller, more defenseless animals, sometimes even infants.
Oh no, is this what I think it is? It's gonna be like that. It's like a channel, like it's like those family. Okay, I don't want to compare. No, I can't compare it to family channels. It's essentially, it just doesn't meet the. It's like under the guise of being in an educational channel, or like even like an entertainment channel, like the family channels.
Nearly every single one of their videos revolves around reptiles eating something. And these aren't done in the wild, but rather in enclosed spaces that whoever is running the channel created for those animals to be eaten in. Like an anaconda doesn't just waltz right into a coop of baby chickens with a camera right in its face, right? No, it doesn't. While they have a cover story of wanting to educate about science, it's clear whoever's running this channel must have a reason to have this style of content focused, even going as far as to abuse animals to get to produce their content. Well, there actually is a reason, although it's far from a justified one. This channel is thought to be spearheaded by an individual who goes by Jonah Vor, who is a vor fetishist, i.e.
Oh, Elephant Man, I just seen your comment on one of my channels that said, or one of my video, or the video before this one, Jesus, that said, be glad you don't know what vor is.
someone who gets sexual pleasure from the idea of something or someone smaller being eaten by someone or something larger.
No
Most people have this fetish
way.
only attracted to the idea in fiction. However, Jonah is different, clearly. He's been active on the internet for quite some time, as a matter of fact, with an old YouTube channel dating back to 2007 that was soon removed for violating guidelines. How we know it was specifically him is that he advertised it on the Big Gulp message boards, a forum for discussing vor. He advertised it as an RL vor channel, and that some of you may remember the winky face. And yeah, it's true. There were now deleted videos on the Reptile channel that are identical to the ones posted on Jonah Vor's website. There's also other things like the channel's Patreon banner featuring a hyper-realistic drawing of a man getting eaten by a giant lizard. So yeah, this channel is run by a vor fetishist that abuses animals for sexual gratification. The strangest part is that this channel is still up to this day, although they haven't uploaded the video in years. It would seem like they were exposed by Nerd, New England reptile distributors, which stirred up some controversy in the reptile community for a bit. I'd imagine being one of these reptile channels and having a channel called The Reptile Channel be like this must suck ass.
For a big company, small...
What the fuck, man?
Ricard Sein was a Indonesian tattoo artist and loving...
He kind of looks like the... Never mind. I'm gonna just wait. He kind of looks like the Indonesian version of that guy that goes, knowledge, or that, you know, that
mother who ran a YouTube channel that uploaded videos
from this angle
detailing his life, showing him drawing, giving people tattoos, and playing with his son. However, in late 2015, Ricard moved to the United States in order to pursue a higher-paying career. It was around this time, though, that Ricard would contract a urinary tract infection. His boss, eager for him to get back to working, gave him a bottle of antibiotics which were supposed to help with the illness. He started showing immediate negative side effects, especially a near-complete inability to sleep. He would be diagnosed with an incredibly rare medical condition called fatal familial insomnia. This disease makes it so those afflicted will lose more and more sleep to the point where they'll die of exhaustion. Ricard's videos around this time are honestly terrifying, to tell the truth, as he can be seen begging everyone and anyone to help him, as he slowly loses his mind to the delirium associated with the condition. Since Ricard didn't have insurance and didn't have enough money to treat his insomnia, he would slowly but surely march towards his death. In December 2016, he passed away from his illness.
Damn, dude. Damn, dude. Damn, dude.
Trevor Heatman better known by
I
his
don't got
YouTube alias
anything.
McSkillet, was a gaming YouTuber who uploaded videos about Counter-Strike Global Offensive, more specifically gambling for more expensive skins in the game. At his peak, he made over $4 million from the business and nearly 1 million
Wow.
subscribers on YouTube. He even had his own CSGO gambling site called CSGO Magic. However, as you might know, in 2018 there was a lot of controversy surrounding loot boxes and gambling sites like
Yeah, I
this.
thought that
People
was
were
like...
calling for these kinds of channels and websites to be banned, and in that same year, Valve updated their policies and began cracking down on these websites. Eventually, his site was a part of those that had fallen. Not only that, but his in-game inventory, worth around $100,000 to $200,000, was wiped. After this, McSkillet retired from YouTube and went dark on every social media platform. He didn't really have anything left after this, as his company had fallen and his main source of income had fallen too. I mean, he still had 900,000 subscribers, he could have just shifted focus, but, you know, whatever. However, over the next couple of
Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way, bro. Just take your money and chill, bro. Ain't no way, bro. Of course, we're gonna get to this next. I guess for some people, the fall is the fall, man.
months, his mental state would begin deteriorating to the point where his parents would ask law enforcement to take him in for psychological evaluation, which they refused to do. On August 23rd, 2018, Trevor Heatman took his own life in a quite selfish way. While on the highway, he drove onto oncoming traffic, colliding with a mother named Ariana Pizarro and her 12-year-old daughter, Eileen. He was not
Wait. Two families head to trial against City and Deadly IA05 wrong way crash that killed mother and daughter and YouTube celebrity.
under the influence and was clearly doing this with intent, as there seemed to be no effort to swerve out of the way. He might be one of the only YouTubers to have taken their own life that people don't really have a lot of sympathy for, and his legacy will remain forever as one of the most hated figures in Counter-Strike history.
The realm that we are in.
Brooke Houts was a pretty popular vlogger.
That's all I will say. Man, that gives me chills, bro. That gives me chills, bro. I got like chills on my arm. And it's not even from the how like I want to describe it the best way I can. It's just like a head shit. It's just so crazy, yeah. I don't get it. The thoughts of some people, man. Everything's just going down in my life. Let me take some people with me. Insane, bro.
With over 300,000 subscribers.
Insane.
Her videos were about what you'd expect, basically just talking about shit that goes on in their life, alongside the occasional makeup tutorial. However, what gained her notoriety, thrown to tier 7 of the Iceberg, is her videos featuring her dog, Sphinx. Sphinx is a very energetic animal, one which would require a lot of effort and care to take care of. For a while,
Oh, yeah, that looks like a Doberman. Kind of mixed or just a straight Doberman.
it seemed like she was doing a pretty good job of that, featuring him in her videos and the dog seeming fairly happy. However, in one video featuring Sphinx, she actually lets the facade slip. She can be seen grabbing him, slamming him on the ground, and yelling at him out of frustration. In this clip, she puts on a persona that is significantly different than the rest of the video, and afterwards she just goes back to her cheery vlogging personality. It's clear this—
And and this is why I say be very careful with who is on the internet. Even me, no, but in all honesty, I try to be as like myself as possible without kind of tapping in too much into my metaphysical stuff, because people would probably think I was completely out of my mind. But I do on certain channels, not really this one anymore. But like this, people got to have a level of discernment, dude. Seriously, a level of discernment. And that's why I always say this, never idolize the pointers. I say pointers because when I'm talking about spiritual gurus, I will see a lot of people who are, I don't even want to go down that path. It can actually go back to like Exerbia, was that his name? But not saying like anything against these people, but don't idolize it. We're all the same. We're all flesh and blood. We are exactly the same. Like, you know, like y'all could be me. I could be watching you in a different parallel universe, and this is your channel. Like, I'm just you through the screen. We're no different. We're all the same in essence. And that's why I say just people like this never, because they end up idolizing. And I don't want to say the wrong people, because almost maybe it's the right people. So then Swag or Potted has a, like, in a weird way, that's how things connect in my mind, is like, you know, maybe she had to go and do this so that we'd end up be talking about this to this day, or other people got to see it. Hey, Shoe On Head even covered this. That's funny. But that, like, it's just one of those things where it's like, this kind of reminds you of having that discernment when it comes to watching people online. It's just don't idolize these people, man. I've been saying it since I was 14, and I got called weird for this sort of thing, that I never understood idolizing celebrities or anything like that. And these internet personalities aren't celebrities, but essentially it's the same effect. Like, I don't care. No one can come and tell me that it's the same thing. It's just a title. Like, not that internet fame is probably like a lot more docile than actual celebrities. There are certain internet personalities who push the bound. You know what I'm saying?
This was part of the video. She forgot to edit out. She
don't-
quickly realized her
this is why I
mistake,
say
removing the
don't.
video as soon as she could, but the damage was already done. She was public enemy #1, with her rapidly
Yeah.
losing subscribers, and even media outlets reporting on the
Perfect
event.
YouTuber
Over the next
energy.
couple of months, she would try to publish several apologies where she did not own up to her mistakes, stating that she was in a bad mood that day and really stressed out, and also that Sphinx was
Bad mood. And that's the thing too when it comes to emotions, because I tell those people the same thing every time. Your emotions don't, like, control your emotions. Don't let them control you. You're not your emotions. You don't have to identify with them. Like, that's why I say, like, even some of these topics in the video, I could get really, like, I don't want to go.
never hurt, which
I'm gonna be yapping.
can't show the clip here because it violates TOS, but that dog was definitely hurt when she did that. While she was never charged with anything really, and YouTube never took her channel down, she did eventually shut it down herself, and give Sphinx away to a friend who was more prepared to deal with him. Nowadays, we don't know where she is, as every single one of her social media accounts has been shut down by her.
I love that. Don't pop up in a future video talking about you drove on the opposite road. Not funny for the people involved, but I mean, like, this is like just go about your life now. You learned your lesson.
Types of Schizophrenia, A Day in the Life of, is a video uploaded to YouTube by Anon B in 2011,
What
although
the
the
heck? Is
original
that a
creator of the video
roach?
is Johnson Pharmaceuticals. It's 6.5 minutes long and is meant to be a simulation of a perspective of a patient with schizophrenia having a psychotic episode. We can see our protagonist waking up in the morning and walking around their house with voices both male and female whispering in their head about how worthless and pathetic they are. They walk into their
Oh, that's
living room
lovely.
and turn on the TV, where the news reporter begins speaking directly to them about how they're useless and sit around all day and do nothing. Then a pizza gets delivered to the house and they look at it and it's all bubbly and gross looking, so they throw it on the ground. Then finally their wife comes home and tells them to take their meds. The whole thing is meant to heighten awareness of schizophrenia so people can better understand what they go through on a day-to-day basis. And from the comments, it seems people generally think they did a good job.
It's actually pretty cool. Candle Cove screaming episode.
Candle Cove is a creepypasta by Chris Staub. It centers around the eponymous children's television series Candle Cove that was apparently a puppet show that would progressively get more disturbing to viewers as it progressed. The story is laid out like an exchange on a web forum, where users discuss watching the show in their childhood on a strange TV channel called Local 58. No, that's not a coincidence. The web series Local 58 is actually a spin-off of Candle Cove. The users recount elements of the show, such as a skeleton pirate character called the Skin Taker, who wears a suit made out of, well, skin, and an episode which was literally just the puppets flailing around while screaming noises played. The latter got a recreation on YouTube in 2009 by a guy named Joe Jacobs 666. This is one of those old videos that, while it was definitely probably scary in its time period, now it just kind of seems like a meme or something. There's also another recreation of it produced by the Sci-Fi Channel in 2016, as the whole series got an official adaptation as season 1 of their anthology series, Channel Zero.
Begotten 1990.
Begotten is an entry I've technically already covered. It's a film released in 1989, even though the video says 1990. It was directed by Edmund Elias Marriage. Back in Tier 5, we talked about Sujijis, which was a video released in 2008 on YouTube that is merely a clip from Begotten, and in that entry, I discussed the plot of the film. It features a godlike feature taking their own life by disembowelment with a straight razor, which gives birth to Mother Earth and the Son of Earth, who's this deformed half-human, half-monster creature, and together they embark on a journey through a desolate landscape. There really isn't a whole lot to say about it that I haven't already said. It's always listed under the most disturbing movies of all time lists. However, every actual review of it says it's kind of boring, which, I mean, I apologize to any Begotten fans watching this. I haven't actually watched the entire film, but that's the general sentiment I'm observing. Also, I noticed last time I talked about this, it said it was an inspiration for David Lynch, but what I think I meant is that Begotten was inspired by David Lynch, not the other way around.
What the what was that? The heck did I just see? I'm not gonna even. Ensuring
this is another one of
place
those entries that's a follow-up to a previous entry I've already talked about. Back in Tier 4, I talked about an old video called Grave Robbing for Morons, which was, to recap, an obscure VHS tape released in the late 1980s to early 1990s, and featured a young man explaining the most optimal way to rob graves. Some say it's fake, others say it's real, but it was released on an unmarked, uncredited VHS tape. So how did people find out about this video's existence though? Well, because it was uploaded to YouTube in 2014. But the reason why the uploader of that video found out about it is because it's featured in a slightly less obscure compilation DVD released in most likely the mid to late 2000s based on just the general aesthetic of the box art and the main menu. It's called Ensuring Your Place in Hell, and Grave Robbing for Morons just one clip out of 4 on this DVD. The other 3 are about the same level of fucked up. First, there's one called Exploding Varmints, where a man who identifies himself as Lewis teaches the viewer how to, well, explode varmints, mostly gophers and prairie dogs, by shooting them with a high enough caliber that it looks like they blow up. Apparently, there's a rumor he did this in his neighbor's yard without permission, just casually sneaking onto his property and producing animal snuff films. Both Lewis and the DVD box make it clear that he's doing this almost strictly for fun. With the way these animals explode, I don't think they'd really be usable in any way. Next up is Cooking with Huck Botko, which is a series of shorts by a man named, well, Huck Botko. All of these shorts follow pretty much the same template. Huck describes how he hates somebody a lot, usually a family member, so he tricks them into eating something really, really gross. For example, in one short he says he hates his dad. So he makes a fruitcake for him and then goes around the city asking random people to spit in the batter. They're then shown eating it and saying it tastes really good. In another short, he says he hates his sister a lot, so he contacts people with hepatitis and acquires blood samples for them. He then makes a cake and cooks the blood into it. He ends this short by showing himself giving it to her at one of her parties, and then everyone eats it, even her friends.
This can't be real, bro.
Finally, there's one where he really hates his brother, so he bakes a pie for him. In this one, he hires male prostitutes to, you know, glaze it, and then he serves it to his brother. I wonder how his family hasn't caught on to how many gross-ass pies and cakes he makes for them. Well, that's because this one's fake. Huck Botko is actually a film director and writer, and he worked on The Last Exorcism, The Virginity Hit, and Mail Order Wife. None of which seem like they were super well received, but, you know. He's also falsely credited on IMDb for writing a fake episode of Drama Alert, where Keemstar tries to revive his once popular TV show, but his wife leaves him, so he moves in with his uncle, played by Hulk Hogan. What the fuck? Anyways, last video on the DVD is Mortuary of the Dead, as opposed to Mortuary of the Live? Question mark? This video features 3 Spanish-speaking men breaking into a morgue. Along the way, they discovered mutilated bodies, severed heads, and even dead babies being preserved in glass jars. I saved this one for last because it's probably the most fucked up, and also the one we know the least about. It's either ridiculously well done effects, or real, probably the latter. All 4 of these clips are taken from VHS tapes from the 1990s, much like Grave Robbing for Morons. Following this, there's actually an Ensuring Your Place in Hell 2, released in 2021 by Putrid Productions, which is different than the original DVD. It features 4 on the Floor, which is a real-life crime scene footage of the Wonderland murder case, An Exorcism in Turkey, which is an exorcism in Turkey, High Impact Hand Safety, which is a training video that features corny and over-the-top scenes of gore, and finally Experiments in the Revival of Organisms, which is also a video I talked about in Tier 6. Hell, there's even a third one, featuring an infant autopsy with a real baby corpse.
Alright guys, for me, this is just wild. This section right here, I have no words, okay? Like, I'm like, what the okay, Jesus. Not showing any footage of these, but the video this is a thumbnail for will be in the description.
A roadkill cooking tutorial, another work safety video, and another crime scene footage video. Almost all the videos on the trilogy are up on YouTube. Okay, maybe not the baby autopsy, but for the most part they are. All in all, these tapes kinda remind me of Mondo films, except somehow even less tasteful. Abstractions is a horror web series / ARG. Started in 2016, it's one of the more artsy and, dare I say, abstract ARGs we've seen on YouTube. The whole thing revolves around our main character dealing with themes of grief and loss relating to the passing of a family member. Of all the ARGs we've covered, I've got to say it's certainly one of the more interesting ones, at least visually. I don't have a whole lot to say about the plot or anything, but there is a Nexpo video, so you already know what I'm going to say.
Walk in for all your favorites during Little Caesar's Summer of Hot and Ready, like a thin crust pepperoni pizza for $7.99.
Oh my gosh, look at what's next. Shout out to you, Elephant Man. I just got your email. Yeah, that all I got to say about that is yeah, to the earlier part, Elephant Man wasn't what I expected.
The 15 Experience is another horror web series, this time being more of a found footage kind of deal. It began in 2014 on a channel of the same name. The premise was that one night a mysterious hacker was peering into private surveillance cameras in a random house. 15 to be exact, which is where the name comes from. However, suddenly he slowly realizes that there's evidence of paranormal activity going on in the house. The channel would upload several videos consisting of footage from each of the 15 cameras. However, the main show seemed like it was definitely the website, where users could click around at each of the surveillance cameras running at the
Why is he so expressive too? He's
same time. That being said, the series abruptly ended later that same year. It came back in 2017, then abruptly stopped again, leaving the series unfinished to this day.
he's got to finish it. Dolly Flesh.
Leighton Allen LaBoot, better known by his internet alias
I think I know
Dolly
this.
Flesh, as well as alternate handles such as Misery Magic, was a channel on YouTube who was most well known for his main artistic medium, claymation. Starting in 2016, he'd begin uploading videos that started out pretty normal, just being animations with a fair bit of cartoon violence, however, nothing too crazy. As time would progress, though, his videos became a bit more disturbing. They would focus more and more on realistic depictions of murder, torture, dismemberment, genital mutilation, sexual assault, animal abuse, the list goes on and on. While Dolly Flesh is far from the first or last animator on YouTube to make gory animated videos, his were done on a level of realism that just weirded people out to an extreme degree. Even taking all that into consideration, it could just be chalked up to just edginess, right? Well, there's a character in these videos named Itchy the Clown who was directly based off John Wayne Gacy, a real-life serial killer who formerly had a job as a clown. John Wayne Gacy seems to be someone Leighton idolized, as he would make tribute pieces to him as well as featuring Itchy in many of his videos. He also did some other weird things, like making a clay sculpture of a baby and then began eating spaghetti out of its chest. Other times, he would go into extreme detail on Twitter about his scat fetish. He even talked about how he would make sex dolls out of clay and then, have sex with them in order to lose his virginity, which is something he desired quite a bit, as he was what some would consider an incel. At one point, he made a clay sculpture of breasts for himself that were fully functional, even squirting out milk. So yeah, Leighton's a pretty weird guy. However, none of those were enough for him to lose his following, as he kind of built himself up upon being the weirdest and edgiest person on the internet possible. It wasn't until May of 2019 where he made a tweet talking about how he plans to buy some hamsters. A few days later, he films a video of himself playing with his 3 pet hamsters. The next day...
No. He played with his hamsters. Roll the credits. Curtain call. Is that what it is? You just drop the curtain. That's it. The dude played with his hamsters. No need to go to absolutely astronomically disturbing heights. There's no way it's gonna get.
Leighton would upload a video of himself torturing and killing the hamsters in gruesome and grotesque ways.
Yep.
He would stab them, amputate their limbs, drown them, crush them, and even microwave
You're lying, bro. What?
them. The video, titled One Kid, 3 Hamsters, was immediately taken down as it violated YouTube's terms of service, so he spread it elsewhere, cross-posting it to several unrelated subreddits. This would be the point where internet users would contact authorities, and on May 25th, 2020, Leighton was arrested on account of animal murder and abuse. However, only 3 days after his arrest, he was bailed out for a measly $1,000, and he was instead put on probation, where he would not be allowed to use social media or enter pet shops. At Leighton's hometown, there'd be a series of protests against his ridiculously light sentence, calling for him to be imprisoned. However, these were not successful, and Leighton, while again not permitted to use the internet, still roams free to this day.
I'm not gonna talk on the dude's sentence or anything like that in the protests, whatever. But Jesus, dude. Yeah, man, that's kind of crazy. There's like certain things I want to comment on, but then I'm just like, I'm gonna leave it alone. That's just wild to me. That's a little bit insane.
On YouTube, you can very easily find videos of mothers breastfeeding their babies. Obviously, YouTube doesn't allow you to show boobs in videos, but I assume this is a special case, as breastfeeding isn't really a sexual thing and more of just like, a natural thing. Like, you're literally allowed to do it in public. Most of the videos are educational too, and I assume it can't really dip into fetish toys since they probably don't allow it if it's like an adult sucking on someone's titties. Still though, it's pretty easy to find weird perverted comments on these videos, but beyond that, there's nothing super weird about these. Also, don't think I didn't notice that the breastfeeding entry came right after the Dolly Flesh entry.
Bro, that's what I'm saying with some of these.
But you did, you fucking bastard.
Yo, that's what I'm saying with some of these, bro. Like earlier when he said your jaw, his jaw was a little bit like jarred to see like after, what was it? Was it after the Samantha thing? I think. Yeah, after the Samantha thing, the poop shotgun. Like, what the fuck?
Alissa Devault is a woman
Fuck. What is this whole thing? What the fuck, dude?
from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and she
Myrtle
apparently
Beach.
had a YouTube channel where she did makeup tutorials. At least that's what people say. However, to my knowledge, there exists absolutely no re-uploads of her content anywhere whatsoever. However, her content isn't the reason why she's listed on the Iceberg. In 2017, she gave birth to a baby girl, and in 2018, she gave birth to a baby boy. Both times she gave birth, she delivered the baby in her apartment and would promptly be admitted to the hospital for all the things that came with childbirth, but no actual child to be seen. Apparently, she did not want kids, so instead of getting an abortion, what she would do is throw the baby's bodies in the dumpster outside her home. Yeah, she did this twice, and on the second time, authorities caught wind of it. She was sentenced to 40 years in prison without any chance of parole, and the last we heard of her, apparently she snuck drugs into prison and got punished for it. In 2015, a mining and metals company was created by the name of South32 straight out of Perth, Australia. Since its inception, it had garnered over $6 billion as of 2021, and was a spin-off of the larger company BHP Billiton. South32 is also the name of a film released in 2016, about a year after the company's creation. All things considered, not the greatest movie of all time. It was a low-budget indie flick that didn't get a lot of recognition, and when it did get recognition, it wasn't exactly the most well-received movie either, garnering a whopping 4.7 out of 10 average rating on IMDb. Hell, it's the kind of movie that is uploaded onto YouTube for free by the writer Luigi Bion. Luigi Bion is quite the character, to say the least, and even doing a quick Google search on him can tell you why. Though they've since been removed from the website, he has several biographies on IMDb written by what's most likely his alternative accounts. Talking himself up to be some kind of savior for humanity, fighting against evil and villainy, and even claiming that in 2011 he was personally invited to meet with the Dalai Lama in India. At the same time, the biographies would allege things about South32, the unaffiliated mining company, saying that black employees would be discriminated against and that the CEO is a rapist, which are both, from what I can tell, completely baseless claims. The story gets weirder when people begin discovering a whole host of strange websites littered across the web. Satana.com, IHateKids.com, LosAngelesNews.com, etc., etc. What these all have in common is that they all feature images, videos, and sometimes even straight up redirections to South32.com, Luigi Bion's main website. Now, I don't think it can be understated how many websites this one dude runs. He owns around 70,000 domains across the internet, all of which are used for the purpose of promoting South32.com. At first, this website was merely used to promote the movie of the same name. However, as they started getting traction, the website would become rambly and chaotic. In 2018, a YouTuber by the name of Elder's Vault uploaded a video diving down the rabbit hole, and the site changed to reflect that. South32 will pay $100,000 to locate the man who has Australian accent, calling himself Mr. Elder, and the company organization funding his false online campaigns against South32.com and its CEO Luigi Bion International Motion Film Company. Apparently, there was no real follow-up to that, merely just being Luigi intimidating the YouTuber with his large sums of money. Searching South32 up on YouTube leads to a large amount of channels that all seem to be run by Luigi, with names such as South32, South32 Luigi Bion South32, South32 is a film business, Luigi Bion South32, etc., etc. So what does any of this mean? Is this just some meaningless bullshit? Perhaps even a promotional campaign?
Is it actually crazier?
A front for criminal activity? Well, the main theory behind all of this that sort of makes everything make sense is that Luigi Bion is a cyber squatter. The act of cyber squatting is intentionally registering a domain that a company could possibly want to use in the future. In doing so, you force the company to do whatever you want in order to get that domain, which in almost every case involves money. This was a ridiculously common practice in the early days of the internet, and even resulted in several court cases over domains like Nissan.com, Madonna.com, and even MikeRoweSoft.com, the latter of which was owned by a high school student named Michael Rowe. It was a ridiculously easy way for people to make thousands of dollars, especially when there wasn't a lot of legislation surrounding it. So companies didn't really have any way to protect their copyright until, well, legislation was actually put into place in the early 2000s. So how is Luigi doing this in a time when the art of cyber squatting has been for the most part lost to time? Well, he has a movie, dude. A movie called South32 that just so happened to start production and pop up with a website around the time the mining company South32 would form. Now that I mention it, this isn't even really a theory. According to news reports, Luigi Bion is actually a pseudonym of Saeed Yomtabayan, who is a famous squatter who's been doing this for years, stealing domains from major companies such as 20th Century Fox, Bank of America, and Yahoo as far back as 2000. He faced legal repercussions for this, so he eventually changed his name and kept doing it, but this time he was clearly trying to be a bit more discreet about it, shitting out a whole low-budget direct-to-YouTube movie to make it seem like he's promoting it rather than just trying to steal South32.com from the mining company. But don't worry, man, Yomtabayan said you can have your domain back for $10 million. The company's response was a simple lol fuck no, and they went with south32.net instead. Yom Tabayan, in a fit of rage, decided to publish random false allegations about the company's staff, in order to blackmail them into buying the domain for his comically exorbitant price tag, as it would be the easiest way to get him to shut up. This never happened though, and all that we see is simply what's left of his desperate and frivolous attempts to extort money out of the company. Man, I've said South32 so many times it doesn't even feel like English anymore.
No way, damn. People do, man. People would do anything. If this iceberg has proven anything to me, man, it's that there are some entities on this earth that will go above and beyond, man. They will go the mile for stuff.
And that's it for part 2 of Tier 7 of the massive YouTube iceberg. And, holy shit, you guys. The last video got like 50,000 views. That's like way better than any of my videos have ever done. I also got like 2,000 subscribers in the past month too, so welcome new viewers, and also thank you to returning viewers. Anyways, it would seem like my theory in the last video was pretty much right. Tier 7 onwards doesn't have any theming going on like the first half of the chart, so as we progress further down the chart, I could really find myself talking about anything, which is really exciting. The best part of doing this series is that I never really know what I'm going to be talking about, and that feeling is amplified the more we continue down. I'd never heard of South32 before, but I was dreading talking about it, expecting to be nothing more than some dumb ARG, but was pleasantly surprised to find out it was much more interesting than that. Anyways, I don't have much to say beyond that. Join me next time when we finish up Tier 7. See ya.
Wow. Oh, whoops. I clicked it. Okay. There we go. What I will say is, yeah, that's what I find interesting about watching it. I see things that, you know, I like videos that I haven't seen for years, and it's just funny to see them. Like, even if I've seen 2 or 3 seconds of them, it's insane that they've made impressions on my consciousness so much to the point that it's like when it comes up in an iceberg like this, I'm like, whoa, like, you know, like Elephant Man. I'm sure I've seen like one image of that guy once, but immediately knew what it was. So that's pretty insane. And to hear some of the backstories of a lot of these things that I didn't even know. South 30, all the ARGs are absolutely insane. I didn't know there was so many ARGs, but I get it, because I can see where like what ARGs are alternate reality games, right, or something like that. I can see where the like appeal to make them are, because it'd be so easy to kind of just start one. Like I said, I definitely had ideas throughout this iceberg to like maybe drop a random phrase, see if anyone starts picking up on it or something like that. I'm always in a creative mindset. Like, there's something I would definitely want to do between all 3 of us, or even like a call between Swag, Potted, and myself. Like, I guess like if I'm saying that, maybe I reach out to them, but I would definitely want to do something like that. Maybe talk about certain topics. Elephant Man, you had a really good idea, which was after I get through this, just do commentary videos on certain topics. I don't even know what I would really talk about at this point. Like, for example, another thing that was cool, since I still have the video up right here, is Moonman. I did not know all that background behind Moonman. I just thought it was some guy that I thought the song was funny, like the original song I heard with it. I don't know if that's still up, which is, I think is, maybe not. Maybe it was the soda thing. Wait, hang on. Let me see what it is. I'm gonna have to probably just go pull it up. Oh, Saint Pepsi, Enjoy Yourself. That, like, music video, like, I heard that, and that's where I originally thought I seen it from. I didn't even know this Moonman was associated with McDonald's. I think, if anything, I've probably seen it like once, but yeah, man, it's cool seeing the backstory of a lot of these things that I have seen. Like the girl who had the dog, man. Like, I knew that one. Like, I knew her face. I immediately recognized her, but I forgot what had happened. And wow. And actually, another thing that's mind-blowing is just to see the types of individuals here, you know. But you know what, this whole iceberg serves as a real reminder just to don't judge a book by its cover. You know, don't judge a book. You never may know who you're watching, dude. I see some people get a little bit, I think I've talked about this in one of the tiers about like parasocial relationships, and it's not necessarily directly parasocial relationships between the individual, like the actual creator and the watcher. I'm talking about like parasocial adjacent feelings, where it's like, you know, because I've always been about that. And that's why I talk about it. Like, you know, some person will talk about their favorite creator doing something, and I'm like, dude, I mean, I'm not surprised. Like, these are people you don't directly know, so it's like, yeah. But all right, other than that, I'm done yapping. We got through an entire one. That wasn't bad. You know, I wasn't rushing or anything, but I wanted to put it in one video for you guys, see how that is, rather than just breaking it up, so you can just come back to the same video. But that was fun. All right, much love in Moonlight. See you on the next one.